Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report, Colts fans, for today's Colts-Chargers Preview with Sam Frick. Thank you, Sam, for taking the time to talk some Colts. By the way, everybody, we're looking for people to join us, talk Colts and Pacers if you have experience, or if you just are passionate about it and like talking about the Pacers or the Colts. Please let me know. My number is 502-533-3161. Welcome, Sam.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for having me on again.
And the story of the Colts the last couple of weeks, and it's probably the story of every NFL team at some point in every season, is the injuries. Last week, the Colts were able to survive the Cardinals despite a banged-up defensive backfield. And Sam, this week, injury report looks even worse.
It's getting a little crowded in the injury report. It's about to look like a hockey line change in terms of football reports right now for the Indianapolis Colts. We know 3 players are already out for Sunday, and that would be Josh Downs, Ashton Dulin, and then Ward, the player that was injured during warmups last week against Arizona. He's out for this game against the Chargers. So again, it's all about next man up mentality for the Colts. It feels like they've done a good job of that so far, but it's going to be even more tested this week as they travel back to LA, take on the LA Chargers. In fact, we lost in that same arena last time we played in LA. So we'll be interested how we do against the Chargers.
Only loss of the year so far.
Yep.
Was in that building. And we're going to give our predictions at the end, Sam. I'm just going to tell you right now that I'm predicting a second loss in the same building. That's a tough place to go when you're hurting.
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling the same way.
And the Chargers' strength, of course, is their pass game with Justin Herbert. The Colts' strength is on defense, is their defensive backfield. But as you mentioned, Charvarius Ward out for this game for sure. Kenny Moore's questionable, so it's possible that he will return. But as we already know, Justin Whaley and Hunter Wohlers on the IR, Jalen Jones on the IR. It's just been a mess back there, yet they've held up pretty well.
The Chargers pass game is going to be a big test for our defense. And if you watched the Chargers game last week against Miami, it felt like even though Miami kept scoring and kept making it close, the Chargers always found a quick response every time. And the Chargers were able to pull away with a close win in Miami, Florida, which is always a tough place to play no matter how good or bad the Dolphins are. But it's going to be a tall task. A very good quarterback in Justin Herbert, the talented receivers the Chargers have. And the offensive line, I think, has gotten much better over the years. It used to be the Chargers offensive line was a weak link for the Chargers, but it seems like that has gotten better in recent years.
And I think it's a weak link this year, something they're probably going to have to address if they want to be a serious contender. And most teams, if you're going to beat the Chargers, as we found out against the Giants, the key is to get a lot of pressure on Justin Herbert. And that's something the Colts are going to have to do. And that's, I think their numbers are mid-pack pressure-wise, but to me, the pass rush just hasn't been good enough, and it's going to have to be good on Sunday.
I think it's going to have to be because our secondary is just banged up right now. We definitely need some help up front. And I think, again, as we get closer and closer to November, the talk around the deadline is going to start heating up here. And right now, the rumor mill is really picking up on Hendrickson right now. And we're still in the midst in the rumor mill for him. So it's just something to keep an eye on as we get closer to Thanksgiving. We're going to have to start making some moves at some point because right now we've played well enough up to this point that we are going to have to be looked at as one of the buyers coming into the deadline.
You would think so. You get through this game. If you win, you go to 6-1, which is just crazy, with Tennessee coming to town the next week before the trip to Germany. If you lose this game, you're still 5-2 with Tennessee coming to town next week. So we're talking at the halfway point, assuming they don't fall apart, 6-2 at the worst. And again, we're going to do our predictions here in a minute, but I'll take 6-2, Sam.
I would take 6-2. Even if they lose Sunday, I could definitely take 5-2 going into next week against Tennessee with an opportunity to improve upon. Because I think at this point, we talked about that Germany game being kind of a rough one because we don't do well at times in international games, and we got Atlanta coming up in that Germany game. That's a tough game to play and a long distance type of situation here. So to go 6-2 potentially, I would take those numbers all day. I think if you were betting sit and shoot before the season started, I think you'd be winning some money right now.
Yeah, without question. I certainly didn't see it coming at all. As you know, we made our predictions in the preseason game by game, and I believe I had him at 1-5, not 5-1. Just tremendous job by the coaching staff, and let's be honest, Daniel Jones has really kind of helped solidify a roster that I think was pretty good. Just needed a solid quarterback in there.
And we've had that issue for a while with quarterbacks because we just never found any stability in that position. We talked about this in the postgame show against Arizona. I think Daniel Jones is primed for a payday because he's having the best year of his career up to this point.
Yeah, and the Colts are going to pay him. And
Yeah.
they're going to pay him big.
North of $10 million at least.
And I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that yet, but maybe he can play his way into me being a fan of that. Once they sign him, he'll be our guy. I'm just not sure that's the right way to go with the franchise. I think it ensures a lot of mediocrity, but we'll see. Right now, you can't deny that they're, I don't know if you want to say a top Super Bowl contender, but a team that would be mentioned if you're talking about Super Bowl contenders for sure.
They're at least in the dance. And that's the thing right now. The Colts haven't been in the dance for a while. So just to be in the dance, I think is a start.
As of right now, the Colts are tied with the Chargers 17-1 as the 7th most likely team to win the Super Bowl. All those teams are pretty close. The Bills and Chiefs are tied at plus 650. Then the Packers are plus 7. Then the Packers are 7-1. The Lions 9-1. The Eagles 950. Then it jumps a little to the Rams at 1500. And the Colts and Chargers at 1,700. The team I would take to win the Super Bowl right now, I believe, is 1,900, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They're tied with the Colts for the best record in the league, correct?
Correct. And they played a tough schedule.
They have.
Yeah. And I believe in Baker. I'm starting to believe in Baker Mayfield, I'll put it that way. Sam, let's talk a little bit more about the Chargers. It all starts with Justin Herbert, who, at least for the first 3 or 4 games this season, looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's had a couple of not great games of late, but he's thrown for 1,493 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, which, by the way, seems paltry compared to Daniel Jones, which is just nuts. Their running back is rookie Omari in Hampton. He gets almost all the carries. He has 314 yards through 5 games. Their receivers are quite good. Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey are both having great seasons. Keenan Allen is having kind of a revitalized season as well. And Hampton is pretty good out of the backfield. You mentioned that their offensive line isn't very good, and that's true. But it's also not horrible. But it is an offensive line with some talent with Joe Alt and Mekhi Becton. Pretty talented line. They've had injuries on the line as well. So that's where you got to take advantage. And so far, the game plan for the defense has been really good. So I think that gives them a chance against a weak offensive line. If you cannot get pressure, if you cannot win at the line of scrimmage, the Chargers are just going to torch you.
They're just too talented. Many years ago, we talked about how the Chargers used to have, Austin Eckler running back and then Keenan Allen wide receiver. They've done a really nice job of supplementing around Justin Herbert with a good backfield. Obviously, they have a good running back they go to a lot, and then you got receivers he throws to a lot. And so it's a very balanced offense, so to speak, with the Chargers. Again, it's very talented in the skills position. The offensive line isn't amazing, but like you said, it's better. It's better than what it's been in past years, and I think that's why the Chargers are kind of in that fringe contention for the Super Bowl. Is the offense? I think the defense is also just as good. In my opinion, I find the defensive line to be improving. Again, I think that used to be a weakness as well, but I think it's gotten better in recent years. Again, I think the Chargers I wouldn't say they're like unbeatable by any means. I mean, they have enough weaknesses. I think the Colts can take advantage of those weaknesses, but the biggest concern I have is the skills position against a banged up defensive backfield. That is where I have the most concern. And if we're not able to get any type of pressure on Justin Herbert, it's just going to be a long day for the defense.
And the offense is going to have a ton of yards against the Chargers. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You've got to limit the turnovers because that's what the Chargers do. They turn your mistakes into points. They're also pretty good on the pass rush, so they can disrupt drives and cause turnovers that way. Not great pass rush, but pretty good. I have no concern about the Colts offensive line, about the Chargers defensive front.
That the issue will not be the Colts in terms of the offensive line. They should get some points, but I just have a look. The injuries to me, I think, is where I have the most concern going into this week. Again, we've done a good job of handling the injuries, but this is one of those games where Kenny Moore would definitely be needed right about now. 100% Kenny Moore would be needed right about now. A 100% healthy defensive backfield would be great right now, but unfortunately we have to work with the cards we have right now. And so right now the Colts have to be able to bend but not break, so to speak, defensively, get enough pressure on Justin Herbert that he can make some mistakes. And Justin Herbert, he's still a young quarterback. He still will make some mistakes if we can force him to make tough throws here. And I think that's where the Colts defense is going to have to prove it on Sunday, be able to weather the storm of the injuries and be able to still get the job done against the skills positions of the Charger players. And that's what's going to be tough. Going to LA, going against that type of Chargers offensive skills positions are going to be the biggest test for me.
Sam, the computers, the analytics, the gamblers all think this is going to be a toss-up game. Awful lot of them have the Colts winning. I just have a feeling this is one of those games you fly across country. Not every game can go perfectly like they have so far, with the exception, of course, being the game being last week. I think things didn't go perfectly, and they were able to find a way to win. I just don't think they are this week. It's a gut feeling, Sam. Give me the Chargers 31-30.
I'll go Chargers 28-21.
All right, Sam. Final thoughts going into this. A chance to be 6-1.
Well, it's an opportunity for the Colts to get better defensively, and hopefully we can put ourselves in position to be 6-1. But again, if we can continue to show improvements, I think that's the big thing more importantly. And hopefully we can avoid any more injuries than what we're already dealing with, because right now we definitely need to make sure we can survive the injury mill as much as possible. But if we can put ourselves in position to win this game, that will at least keep me content going into Tennessee. But again, I think we got to take our good and bad with this game no matter what happens.
Sam Frick of ANEC Sports, thank you so much. Appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you so much to Sam for joining me. Always appreciate it. Again, if you're interested in talking some Colts, or we're also looking for someone to talk Pacers, 502-533-3161. Please send me a text. If you call, you are disqualified. And thank you for listening. We will be back, Sam and I, and probably Will Rutherford, Michelle Garman, to talk about the Colts game on Sunday evening. But we'll have a lot between now and then. An IU Michigan State reaction, Purdue Northwestern. We have a Major League Baseball postseason podcast coming up later tonight. We have so much stuff. Please go subscribe so you don't miss any of it. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.